Welcome to today's deep dive. Imagine like a legal force field dropping around an employee the absolute second they announce a pregnancy.
Yeah, suddenly all the normal rules of firing or scheduling or physical labor just totally bounce off them.
Right, exactly. So today we are unpacking a stack of legal briefings on Mexican maternity labor laws, specifically looking at a document titled Materia Laboral-Dia de las Madres.
And what we found in these sources is a system that is incredibly protective and honestly incredibly rigid. I mean, it originates right at the foundation.
Oh, you mean in the Constitution itself?
Exactly. Article 123 of the Mexican Constitution outright bans pregnant women from doing work that demands, considerable effort or endangers their health.
Which totally makes sense, but it's not just about, like, avoiding heavy lifting. It establishes absolute job stability.
Right. It becomes strictly illegal to fire someone for being pregnant or nursing. Your job and all your acquired rights are just locked in.
Totally locked in. So let's talk logistics. How does this actually play out day to day?
Well, the Federal Labor Law, or LFT, provides the exact logistics. It dictates a mandatory 12-week paid leave. That is 6 weeks before the birth and 6 weeks after.
And they keep their full salary during that whole time, right?
Yes, full salary. Oh, and if an employee is adopting a child, the law also grants 6 weeks of paid leave for that.
Okay, but wait. A strict 6-and-6 split seems kind of, I don't know, impractical. Like, what if a worker feels completely fine at week 38 and wants to save that time for after the baby is born? Is it really that rigid?
It sounds rigid, but there is actually a built-in mechanism for this. With a doctor's approval, a mother can transfer up to 4 of those prenatal weeks to the postpartum period.
Oh, wow. So it operates a lot like rolling over unused data on a cell phone plan.
Yeah, that is a great way to put it. You get to shift the time so you have it exactly when you need it most.
That is super helpful. And I know the protection extends well beyond those initial 12 weeks, too.
Definitely. The law mandates a 6-month lactation period for returning mothers. They can take 2 30-minute breaks during the day or just reduce their entire workday by exactly 1 hour.
Right. And workplaces must provide a dedicated space for this, right? Like a lactario.
Exactly. It has to be a hygienic, dedicated space specifically for that purpose.
Let's pivot to the business owner's perspective for a second, because, I mean, if you are fronting full salaries for 12 weeks, keeping a role open and building out a hygienic space, that is a massive financial burden. Who actually foots the bill here?
So ideally, Mexico's Social Security Institute, the IMSS, pays that full salary during the leave.
Yeah.
But there's a pretty huge catch.
There is always a catch. What is it?
The IMSS only covers that bill if the worker has accumulated enough contribution weeks in the public system prior to the pregnancy.
Wait, really? And if they fall short?
If they fall short, the legal obligation shifts entirely to the employer. They have to pay the entire 12 weeks of salary out of pocket.
Wow. Which, I mean, naturally leads some companies to try and dodge the cost altogether by screening candidates.
Oh, absolutely. But the law anticipates that.
Yeah.
It strictly bans employers from asking for pregnancy certificates during hiring or, to determine promotions.
And penalties for breaking those rules are no joke. We're talking massive administrative fines.
Yeah, the fines range from 50 to 2,500 UMA per affected worker.
UMA being Mexico's standard economic unit, meaning a maximum fine easily equates to thousands of dollars per single violation. That scales up to corporate financial ruin very quickly.
It really does. Plus, the legal fallout of firing or mistreating a pregnant employee is devastating. They could just quit and demand 3 months' salary.
3 months plus 20 days for every year worked, right? And back wages.
Exactly. And if they file a discrimination or moral damage lawsuit, the burden of proof in a Mexican labor tribunal falls almost entirely on the employer.
Because the tribunals operate on the assumption that the employer holds all the structural power and documentation, right?
Yes. The business has to definitively prove they did not fire someone due to pregnancy, which is notoriously difficult to do against the backdrop of these ironclad protections.
So if you are an employee claiming these rights in Mexico, you are operating inside an unyielding mechanism designed to protect your physical health.
And if you are an employer, treating these laws as suggestions is a fast track to financial collapse.
Right. It is an incredible shield for the immediate physical realities of motherhood. But, it leaves you with something to ponder.
Yeah. What happens next?
Exactly. We have this impenetrable force field protecting the mother and newborn right now. But as we look ahead, How might future legislation evolve to protect a returning mother's long-term career trajectory?
That is the big question.
Yeah, I mean, how do we build a force field against the invisible biases of the workplace that happen long after that leave is over? Something for you to mull over as we wrap up this deep dive.